What if I told you you could get into something like painting for only $5? Now, this assumes that you are in a state where certain trades are not required to be licensed. So, all it takes is $5 to put an ad on Craigslist. I can show you my ad and how I set it up. Alright, so this is my Craigslist ad. And I have a bunch of pictures from projects. You can take a picture of your own house or your own place and call it yours, your work, if you're confident in your work. But basically, I just put $1,000 minimum as the basic. I estimate based on a dollar amount per square foot. I usually ask the client how much how much square foot the place is, and just kind of a description of all of the different things that I'll go over. You can pause to take a look at that, but basically, it just goes over what you're confident in doing. Um, so you don't need any actual equipment to get started. The only real requirement is a vehicle to get there. I started out with a Nissan Sentra and got paint all over it and then upgraded to a Ranger. I plan on upgrading again to a van, but the main thing here is that you ask for a quarter of the amount that you guys agree upon up front. So then you can go buy supplies with that and just snowball that into the job. And then when you get the rest, you could put that back into the business and keep the snowball rolling. It'll take maybe a year or two before you really feel like you're being super profitable. You will make money initially, right off the bat, um, but it's just going to be dependent on your skill and whatnot. There's levels of advertisement. This is the first level. All right, before I get too far ahead of myself, I gave one part of kind of the generic way to do it. I didn't start from nothing. I started doing something else, actually, using Craigslist to get a leg up and a bunch of equipment before I started painting. So another unlicensed thing you can do in specifically in Michigan is that they do not require a license for lawn care. And I was working for a billionaire, quote billionaire, doing advertisement and things like web design for him. And this is during 2021, so this is during the crypto boom, right? I had a bunch of Dogecoin from 2014 that I hadn't touched, and I was watching it go up, and I'm like, holy cow, like this is nuts. So um, what happened was that I held on to my Dogecoin way too long. It went up to I had $20,000 worth of Dogecoin and didn't sell it until it was like at 30 cents, I think it was, which still massive profit. I think I actually in the end made 20 no 15,000, yeah, 15,000, $10,000. So I had a bunch of cash just coming in, right? Not everybody's going to be lucky enough to be able to get into that situation, but like I said earlier, you can use your advance from each job to buy equipment. But I had a bunch of money that I was sitting on. The previous job didn't pay me shit. It was like $300 like every other week. It was bad. It was minimum wage. So I decided to go ride my brand new e-bike that I bought with my Trump bucks, um, and my unemployment check, um, and just look around. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start cutting lawns. I'm gonna do what was it the Warren Buffett thing, right? I didn't have that in my head, but now I realize it is. But I went and drove around and I found a free mower, or not a free mower. I paid $20 for it. This thing is a beast. But I literally got on my bike and I was like, I'm just going to go find a mower, right? And literally around the corner from my house is a mower on the front lawn of this guy's house. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, right? So here we go. I got a mower. I'm like, all right, stuffed it in my Nissan Sentra, my 2014 Sentra. Like, like how lucky can you get, right? So I also, in the same stroke of good luck, found a. I still have this sprayer, this power washer, uh, a fully functional Honda, you know, 2600 psi, uh, power washer, just on the side of the road. Nobody wanted it, and I pulled it. I pulled the cord, and I was like, huh, that sounds like it works. Put some gas. I came back. I actually was in my car. I came back with some gas, put some gas in it, and it turned on. I'm like, no shit. So here we go, right? Can you believe the luck? So I started doing lawn care. I just put an ad out on Craigslist and started doing it. And the very first job was this. This is insane. I spent like 7 hours cutting the, just getting it down, just chopping it down with that mower, which is not designed for this. This is you need you need something big for this, like one of those ride mowers. So the people who hired me, I didn't know how to quote the price. I shot myself in the foot. I basically said $30, and they were like, "Sure, go for it." And that was a horrible mistake. So I did manage to get the cut, get it cut down after a lot of effort. I did buy a bunch of other equipment, but they were like, I think I've got. I don't think I have pictures. Yeah, I don't have pictures of it, but basically I here it is. I bought these afterwards, the blower and the weed whipper. But essentially, what happened was that I was just using like things I found on Craigslist to weed whip and to do other stuff. So it was shoddy at first, but then I actually had managed to got I got the full set, and I was this is great. I have a whole thing set up. I'm gonna do tree cutting. So as you can see the pole saw here. This I think this I switched this one out for a bigger one, but let's see. They're only like $100 each, so like $400 got me the whole set with batteries and everything. Now keep in mind this one was tool only, and I think this one was tool only, but this one and this one, so the blower and the edger, well, the new edger, came with a battery. So those Ryobi batteries, I'm still using them on my paint jobs. Like I bought into a tool set, and this hose and sprayer was like $80 total together. They both broke because they're garbage, but this unit, I still have that. Like it is better than some power washers I've used in the past. But I mean, I kept upgrading. I kept putting money back into the business. I bought a little giant for getting up on high stuff. For power washing. So it just I continued to snowball the business. Then I started working for an event company, and I absolutely hated it. I was making nearly twice the amount that I was cleaning vents and making vents in the shop, and I was supposed to be doing van like driving a truck, like a box truck, and it just wasn't working out. I was making too much money in the other stuff. I was breaking down in my car trying to rationalize continuing to work a full-time job while doing a hustle on the side, and it just one plus one didn't equal two in my case. I figured I got to pick one or the other, and I decided on keeping the trade. And what I ended up with was a client who had me cleaning Airbnbs. This guy had a lot of them, and he was giving me about $80 a job, which, now that I look back on it, not the best deal. But I met him through lawn cutting, and I had been cutting the lawns of his properties, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" So I said yes. And that leads me into an interesting story with him. So this Airbnb guy, I'll just call him Airbnb guy. He had a house in Highland Park, and for those of you who don't know what Highland Park is, it's a sort of city inside of, it's like an island city inside of Detroit City. And there's some nice houses there. There's some really bad houses there. I got one of the really bad houses in one of the really bad parts of the neighborhood. It was burnt out. It was a burn house, and they decided to do a lot of really bad drywall work on top of burnt wood, is my guess. And the results were not great. So I'm trying to smooth out. Now, he said, "Hey, do you want to do this house?" I'm like, "This is a mess. I will do what I can." So I quoted him, and again, I didn't know how to quote jobs for painting at this point. I originally quoted that yard work job, kind of going like, didn't know what I was doing, but I had other clients that I was doing the yard stuff with that I was charging like $50 or $40 a lawn, So I was starting to get better at the lawn thing, but the season was changing. It was August, so he's like, "Hey, try your hand at paint. Try it. See what you tell me how just do the one room, and we'll see how far you can go with it." And so I originally quoted him at $1,000. I had painted in the past with my mother. She was a painter, a house painter for a long time, and I've been on job sites, so I got the whole kind of barely the gist of it, right? This is a learning as I go kind of situation. I started off with no clue what I was doing, but this house is something I would never accept now. I would look at this house and go, not in a million years will I ever quote this house, even if it was a lot of money. Like, I don't have the full crew for it. I don't have people to come in and re-drywall it. It is a disaster. Like, do not accept houses that you are unsure you're going to be able to fix. The next door neighbor's house looked like this, so just an example. So I was like, yeah, okay, I can start spackling and just get it going, right? So I bought one of these suckers, and to my dismay, these things are just disgustingly horrible. Like, this thing is trash. It clogged within minutes of using it, and has never worked since. So it also leaves a weird pattern, but I'll digress in a different video reviewing the absolute crap that Wagner sprayers are. But yeah, so I started spackling, painting. I think this is primer, some kind of primer. I don't remember. But I made progress fairly slowly. This job took forever, and it just dragged on, and I had no clue how I was gonna get this going, right? So I did a little drywall work, repair work myself, puzzle piecing the pieces in. I'm actually pretty decent at drywalling, apparently. Um, yeah, better than this guy. And there wasn't a whole lot of studs to work with here, so yeah, and like this doesn't even have anything behind it, and I was able to piecemeal it all together. And yeah, so a lot of bad drywallers out there apparently, in the Detroit area. So yeah, I sanded that down, painted it. Yeah, this is the final result in this, but it took me a month and a half, or maybe 2 months. I don't know, but there was a repaint. I did other stuff on the side, so I was still cutting lawns, still power washing, still doing other stuff for the guy. And we did this green. I had to repaint it. It was bad. One of my lawn clients, I sprayed out his stuff, and I was just working as I'm working, and I should have just focused on this the entire time. Um, no, I should have not even accepted the job. But overall, considering how badly it is set up for me, and this is the repaint on that green color. All right, so let me get into the where it gets kind of weird part. Um, this thing. It's a hot tub on a carpet in a bedroom next to a bed. Now this is after I was done painting, but this was all this stuff around here was open and bare, as you can imagine, like a tub. Siding doesn't have siding on it, and so this is like the guy kept piling like boxes in the place. He wanted me to set it up as an Airbnb as well, and he kept piling up boxes, and I kept running out of space to drop stuff, and so I had to like wiggle around equip stuff everywhere, and I just couldn't keep working with it. But um, he had a regular client that he wanted to move in here, which I had been cutting that guy's lawn. There's this other. this other Airbnb resident at this point because he was just doing a monthly thing for him. And so I was getting to know the guy, and he was like hanging out at the place, and I was kind of showing him like what steps we were going in and how far along it's going to be. And he invited his other buddy over. We partied and drank and so on and so forth. And um, I drank a whole lot less because those guys can slam some drinks. I just sipped. But anywho, he had his buddy. He called Hillbilly over, and basically he wanted the Airbnb guy wanted Hillbilly to put some siding on this um like tub thing, right? This hot tub that just is a complete train wreck, right? So he looked at it, he took one glance at it and went, "I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I don't want to deal with that at all. Like that is a jank mess. Who knows what's underneath it? Like the the siding is in a weird spot. It's on carpet. Like there's so many problems with it. So he's like, no, not dealing with it. And me and Airbnb guy came up with a strategy to cover this, and I was just like a stroke of sort of genius. I was walking through the store. I think it was a Meyer or something or a dollar store, and I saw some curtains, and I'm like, "What if I just staple these curtains to it?" And he's like, "Good idea." And so that's what we did, and god damn, that's ugly. Like worst thing ever done, right? Uh, who I want to know who came up with the idea to put this on carpet, but he bought it like that apparently. Yeah, so it's a popular feature or was a popular feature because it's no longer an Airbnb. Somebody bought it, but um, yeah, the final result turned out pretty good from where it was. It was a horrible, but I moved on from the job and realized that I could continue to do the painting through the winter because it was like late October at this point, and weather wasn't looking great, so lawn care wasn't the option. And I finished this place up, and there was overspray everywhere. Oh, I forgot to mention, by another insane stroke of good luck, I was helping out a friend of my aunt's, and she was moving out to Florida, right? And we were cleaning out her garage, and I was like, "What is that?" And they're like, That's something I don't know." And I like tinkered with it for a minute and said Graco, and I'm like, "This is a sprayer. This is a paint sprayer. I could use this." So I actually ended up with a free sprayer too, and I sprayed this whole kitchen with it. This was the first like room that I was able to do with the sprayer alone. But because you see all the cabinets, I like masked it off and everything. But yeah, I mean the fact that I even got it close to this result, was just shocking. But I moved on. The guy he really he really wanted me to clean the floors perfect. And I'm like, no, there's no way. It's impossible. You got linoleum on this floor. It's it was already way over budget. Like I lost money on this. Like the paint cost, the supplies cost, everything made it so I came out with a negative cash flow on this. I said, "No, I'm not going way over the top." It was like 300 to set up the Airbnb. I said, "You know what? Hire a professional to clean this because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Here's your $300 back." I said, "We're done." I cut him off and I went and did my own thing, right? So as the jobs progressed, I started to realize that the advertising that I was doing on Craigslist wasn't sufficient. I was getting some pretty good jobs still on Craigslist, here and there, and I just needed a higher volume. So I went onto and I'm paying monthly still for Yelp. And what Yelp does is it uses the voice assistants and it is still relevant, but it uses the voice assistants um, to query and give information back to the user. And if you sign up for their ad service, which is like $250 a month, you get pretty regular clients. And I actually soloed I didn't put any ads on Craigslist for 2 months, and I just did the solo Yelp ad and found out it's actually just as viable or more viable in a lot of cases than Craigslist. Now I also put out, you know, I put my website up. I put up a Google Maps ad, and like thing like for the Google Maps location. And that, I mean, it's good to get reviews on that, but it isn't a like an actual like direct advertising strategy. It's nice to have like if people are trying to find you. I found that putting stickers on your car for your phone number isn't, and I'm kind of an advertising guy. I've come from a background of doing advertisement and graphic design and stuff like that. I got the logo and everything, but if you only put your phone number out there, people aren't going to remember that when they're passing your vehicle and they see your phone number or whatnot. A website is easier to remember in the human mind. So in my case, blast painting, people will type in blast painting in Google and they'll find me. And that is a strategy that I've used and it seems like there's some success, but um, another strategy you can do is talk to Sherwin-Williams and say, hey, you got any representatives, any reps that, can refer me? And you give them your business card and they go out and they talk to clients and they refer you. That is a long time coming, but I did this 2 years ago. I just now got someone to respond to the Sherwin rep. It's like, man, that took forever. So either someone's not doing their job or I don't know, but yeah, that's just keep putting those eggs back in your basket. Don't try and just take all the profits, reinvest it, put it in equipment, put it in advertisement, put it in other employees. You know, if you've got the overhead, you just got to keep making it bigger and bigger. And advertising is a very important part of that. Um, I probably pay about I'm guessing about 450-ish dollars per month in advertisement alone. So this is the website advertisement and the Yelp advertisement. And I've got people emailing me and calling me directly when I don't have a Craigslist ad up. So sometimes you get enough saturation in the algorithm for it there to be some actual traction. And it's the old-fashioned way. It's just doing it through organic um, stuff without ads, and with ads. So the ads are their own ecosystem. And yeah, so good luck out there. I have more stories in the pipeline that I can tell. That was sort of a summary of how I got started and kind of where I'm at now. And this isn't the wildest story that I have from my adventures so far. Stay tuned for more. Happy painting.